Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more My Next Life as a Villainess, continuing Silva's route. And I believe we're Silva now, so right, we switched over to him right as we finished the last part. Seeing Katerina raise her fist makes my heart stir in a strange, restless way. I never thought someone like her could exist. Someone who could smile and tell me I could count on her. Most people pity me or don't know how to respond to my story. But Katerina doesn't falter for a second. That's what makes our throuple so good, because you know Rosie's exactly the same way. When I talked about journeying earlier, she looked at me with genuine admiration. I almost wanted to tell her that normally people are more pensive about these things. She really is an extraordinary noblewoman. But maybe that's exactly why Katerina can move me like this. I've never wanted sympathy. When I look into her face, I realize it's acknowledgement of where I am now that I've always sought. This is bad. To be honest, I want to take her in my arms and show her more than just the customs of my hometown. I'm sure, and I'm okay with that, sir. Please do. But you know somewhere in his head he's going to be like, but Rosie. But if I did that, the prince and his lot would have my neck. I'm not sure I could restrain myself from going further either. Let's just remember that she's a 16-year-old girl and you're 21. Let's just throw that out there. I'm not 16 though. Of course, then when you look at my age and Silva, no, that's just as gross. That's just as weird. For now, I have to focus on stopping Rigardwell as soon as possible. I mean, in this world, like, she's but they made the point of being like, I am an adult in Sorcier, but like Rosie and Silva being like, oh, you're a cute kid, and it's like, don't act like that and then say shit like just don't do that. Just don't, and then I wouldn't think about it, you know? Like, yeah, okay, the age difference, sure, fine, but we're in a fantasy setting, and it'd be like ye olde times, where 16, 17, you were getting married, having babies, and like, okay. You know, but like, and not Silva, like, patting her on the head and her being like, he's treating me like a child. Like, no, not that. It's the, oh, right, you guys are, like, adults at 15. Okay. Like, that kind of mentality. And then now it's like, hey, baby, you know what? Don't flip like that. It seems weird. Just don't bring it up at all. You know? Because this is, like, fantasy world. So, like, okay, whatever. Age doesn't... In reality, she'd be like 16 being married off to a 72-year-old, so like 21 ain't bad at all. At least it's in the age range, Jesus. That must be my priority. Collecting myself, I stand up and get ready to walk Katerina from the study. It'd be like Maria being married off to poor Set. Ugh, gross. Still, who could have believed Rosian was right? Glancing at Katerina, I recall all the times Rosian told me the story of meeting Katerina as a child. The way he spoke of her, I figured he had to be exaggerating. But now I see she was all that and more. It's easy to understand how Rosian's whole life was changed in that meeting. And you're saying this in your head, and you know that he's in love with her, and you were like, gonna fall anyway. But you know, again, if we, right, I know. I'm reacting to this as if it's a silo route and we're not a thruple. But, like, if you take it in the thruple route and, like, we're all in love with each other, it's perfectly fun. Then you're like, it doesn't feel weird. See, it fits naturally. They knew. They knew when they were writing this. They're like, there is no way you're not going to love Rosie and Silva and, like, want to be in a man sandwich. So we're just going to write it and make it, like, totally easy to put yourself in that position. You know, literally and figuratively. But Katerina probably has no idea what she's done for Rosian. When I thanked Katerina earlier, she just seemed confused. She has no idea how much she changes others' lives. Well, I guess that's one of her strengths. 8 years ago, when Rosian took me in, Albert and Rosian's father were terribly surprised. Albert and Rosian's fathers, I think you meant plural, because that makes it sound like they have the same dad. And we don't. We're cousins, not brothers. Anyway, we're terribly surprised. It was entirely unlike him to do such a thing. And, oh, Albert and Rosian's Rosie's father. Okay, that's what they meant. Okay. Albert and the Duke We're both surprised. It was just the way it was phrased. Okay, I get it. Never mind. And he said it was all thanks to that little girl. It was Katerina Clays who Razia met when studying abroad in Sorcier. Razian's way of thinking completely changed after meeting Katerina. I kind of almost wish that... I know that, like, when Silva's, like, talking to Razia is like, okay, I work for you. Yes, I'm going to be formal and call you Razia, but I wish in his thought process and a normal way of speaking to him, he would just call him Razia. Like, that's their pal thing. Like, that's his nickname. He's always called him. Like, just, I don't know. Like, I would just prefer that. I wish they had left it that way just to show that, like, that, because they are that close. You know what I mean? That I kind of almost wish, I know that they're trying to do, like, kind of prove that. Razi was just the engineer but Razian is the Duke, and like, okay, we got to separate them. But I kind of, and I understand Albert being formal with him and calling him Razian, right, and the father or whatever. But I do wish that Silva, when he's having these internal monologues, would call him Razi. When he's talking to him, would call him Razi. Unless it's like okay, we're here and it's a formal situation, then I'm gonna call you Razian or whatever. But when it's just us broing out, when we're having just a conversation about girls, then I'm going to call you Rod. Like, I just wish they had added that. That would have just added so much more depth to their relationship that I feel like is actually there. But the game's like, let's just call him Rosian. And it's like, with the relationship that they have, that little bromance and the, like, sibling kind of relationship they've built, that Silva would call him Razi. You know it. You know what I mean? Like, that isn't just a pseudonym for being an engineer. I feel like it's, I don't know. Because Razi's like, to Katerina, just keep calling me Razi, whatever. It's a nice, sweet little nickname. And I feel like he would do that with Silva, too. You know what I mean? But, like, I guess we're supposed to take it that Razi only became Razi when it was like, I'm going to board the ship, so I got to have a pseudonym. Okay. But I don't know. I think it would have been a little bit nicer. Just added a little bit more depth, But that's a miss, but it's okay. I understand. Anyway. He's told me 1,000 times at least. Had he not met Katerina, he would have become a puppet with no will of his own. And he probably wouldn't have reached out to me that day either. Not if he hadn't met Katerina. He would have just done as the guards told him, and that would have been it for me. It was the expected outcome. And then, I probably wouldn't have lived such an upstanding life, as we've seen in the fan disc. The reason I could take Razian's hand, the reason he reached out to me in the first place, all due to Katerina Clays. But she probably has no idea. No, she doesn't. She's derpy, which is adorable. She's the type to be completely blind to the way the prince and her other friends are head over heels for her. Yeah. Again, I get her 100%. She still thinks I see her as a little sister, even though those feelings are long gone. But the prince's letter gonna prove a massive thorn in my side moving forward. Well, I'll make it work somehow. I'm thinking that I reach out to Katerina one more time. It's become habit to pat her head now. Aww. But, like, now that we know, like, once it becomes, like, she's like, it's like a sisterly thing, or, like, a friendly thing, and then it's going to be a romantic thing, and it's like, you know what, I don't care, pat me on that, it's fine. After that, Silva and I exit Razi's detached study. A moment later, the man himself appears from thin air. He was, like, listening at the door. Did you talk? Yes, thank you, Razi. Well, that's good. I want my girlfriend and my boyfriend to understand each other. Perfect. I got you, sweetie. Mind your own business. I was just doing what I had to. Silva's been a handful for as long as I've known him. Feisty little feral cat, I told you. I'd say the same to you. You meddle way too much, you know that. I'll just have to accept it. I can't help but dote on family, and you're like a little brother to me, Silva. Speaking of, little brother. It reminds me of when I first introduced Razi to everyone on the Vinculum. But I understand how Katerina feels. I also have a younger brother I love. Aww. Razi, you have a younger brother too? I kind of forgot about that, to be fair.
Yeah, having family is nice.
I don't think you're supposed to. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We know. Never mind. Just, it's gonna be like Rosie. I don't think you're supposed to love your little brother quite like that, but I do. So, I mean, who am I to judge? I'm always like, is it my brother? Can I bang him? So, like, yeah, you know, I judge other people for it, but not myself. In this game, and Rosie's like, yeah, I adopted Silva like a brother, but I'm also in love with him. That's fucking weird. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, Keith's actually not really my brother either, but I want to bang him. That's fine, but it's weird. Clearly, I'm judging myself deep down underneath. I do judge myself for this, don't get me wrong. I get it. I know I'm a degenerate. I know it's fucked up, but it's not gonna stop me, so, like, whatever. I like that fucking judgy thought just goes out. Rosie, I don't think you're supposed to love your brother like that. You know what? I don't even know why that thought crossed my mind at all. Because somewhere in my brain we're like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? A lot of things. Too much. Too fucking much to go into. So, like, whatever. Sorry, Rosie. I'm totally okay with your relationship with Silva because, again, that just makes our relationship as a group just better. So, anyway. By the way, Rosie, didn't you say you have a little brother? I don't think you've introduced him yet.
That little brother I spoke of is Silva.
Huh? Ooh. There's our first memories. Okay, I can't hit my fucking button. My nails are too long. Invites and favors. Now we're Silva. Okay.
It was just before I turned 18, after I was taken in by the Lindgren family. On that day, I was sparring with Rosian again. Ha! Too slow! I deflected his wooden sword, drawing the point of my own blade to his throat. Ever since we first began, I'd always had the upper hand in our duels. My eyesight and innate physical abilities were part of it, but the biggest factor was my revolting experience at the laboratory. Oh, you really are something, Silva. Rosian rubbed his hand with a wry smile. He must have been hurt when I deflected his sword. But he grabbed his sword from the grass and grinned at me. By the way, have you given it any thought? His usual grin. I could tell exactly what he was referring to. If you're talking about being adopted, my answer hasn't changed. I refuse.
Also, he's like a legal adult now in most normal places, so.
I had no idea how many times he had asked. As my coming of age approached, Rosian became increasingly insistent about adopting me formally into the family.
As a brother lover. That's weird, but sure. Again, that's weird. Why is it weird, me? Why do I say these things that's weird for other people but not for me? I guess it's just weird for people to be degenerates. I'm aware that I am weird. I'm not, calling myself out here.
And in turn, I was running out of excuses. Too bad. I thought giving you a day to think about it would convince you. Like I'd be convinced in a day.
Figured. It's been like 5 years, so.
Rosian put on his resigned smile, but I knew he had far from given up. The usual farce. Tomorrow morning he would start to press me all over again.
I already knew. It's kind of like he's just going to keep asking you every day until you agree, so you might as well just agree. That's how Rosie gets his way.
That had been our routine for months. I was already used to it. I wished he would give up already. It was getting tiresome. Besides, I don't understand why a prominent noble family like the Lindgrens want to adopt some random urchin.
Because you've met them, right? You've lived here for 5 years, Silva. You even told us they smother you with love. They are love smotherers. Love smotherers. That's what I was trying to get out of my mouth. Just accept it.
Normally, nobles would hate the introduction of any new blood, not to mention a commoner's. Yet Rosian refused to budge. I once asked him why, but Rosian only gave me a vague response. It was something like, I suppose our family is simply like that. And if we leave you to your own devices, you might suddenly disappear somewhere far away. That's the part that worries us. And so on. But I still didn't know his true intentions. I was nearly an adult and eager to be left alone. But to the Lingrens, I was a child who needed constant supervision.
That's not it. They just love you so much they don't want you to leave them.
Even though I've never lost a single spar against him, he still refused to trust me. He looked at me like a powerless child who would end up in a ditch if left on my own. Since I was taken in, I had considered leaving time and time again. But each time the Duke and Duchess would stop me, I let this go on and on. According to them,
That's not something a child need worry about. Stay with us until you're all grown.
it was always the same. Honestly, it made no sense to me, and I felt guilty to be a random child dragging on their resources. So I do my best to spar with Rosian or serve as his bodyguard. But, per the laws of the Kingdom of Quid, I would soon be an adult. And once I am, they'll have to let me go. I wasn't a child anymore. I decided how to live my life and take responsibility for myself. When I turn 18 and leave the Lindgren estate, I might journey to find my village. And yet,
Here he is. 3 years later. Still here.
I only had a hazy recollection of it, but there were lots of mountains and trees. And making my way with day labor jobs didn't sound like a bad life. While thinking that, I half-heartedly listened to Rosian going on about being adopted. But then one day the Duke told me about the Vinculum plan. The originator was none other than the notorious premier of Quid, Set Norden. Nothing was proven, but given its suspicious nature, the king ordered the Lindgren family to investigate.
They're just always finding reasons for him to stay.
The investigation had to be top secret, only concrete until The investigation had to be top secret until concrete evidence could be found. Only a few were trusted with the matter. And as I'm being informed of this, I suppose that makes me one of them. Considering that, I felt something cold fluttering in my chest. Just how many people would be told about this top secret matter in the first place? There were fewer people gathered than I expected. I wondered about the viability. After the Duke concluded his explanation, I voiced my concerns. Rosian responded.
The Vinculum plans encompass a massive scale, and the kingdom of Sorcier is involved. We also need to be vigilant that none of the Premier's rats infiltrate our side. With all of that considered, we've decided to confide only in those currently present.
I see. Rosian's side lacked allies. It became clear why I was informed. It wasn't blood or status they were after, but simple trust. And I, it seemed, was worthy of that trust. In that case, I will fulfill my duty. I was indebted to the Lindgren family in ways I could never repay. If I could be of service to them, there was no other choice. So, what do I need to do? I asked, and Rosian's eyes widened.
Didn't you say you wanted to go on a journey?
Not after hearing all that. This isn't the time. Let's shelf that for now. He really expected me to head off on a carefree journey after hearing all that? He smiled at me.
Well, thank goodness. It'll be a great help to have you with us, Silva. There are many things that'll require your assistance. The ship's construction will take some time. Does that mean you intend to stick around at the estate for the next few years?
I'll have more opportunities to convince you.
Rozzy's grin was the same as ever. See, now he's calling him Rozzy.
The heavy weight I felt earlier subsided. Did I just get played? I knew it wasn't the case, but seeing how happy Rozzy was, it made me think it might have been an excuse to keep me around.
See, and I feel like it might have been, either typos that they put Rozzy in here and not Rozian, or, translation typos where they kept having Silva call him Rozian where he should have been calling him Rozzy. This just feels a little more friendly and, close. I like that better.
I wondered if perhaps I'd been too hasty to put my journey on hold. He really did seem so happy about it.
Silva doesn't understand how to accept love yet. We'll get him there, don't worry.
Huh?
Really?
That would have been plain to explain it all, so I summarized. But besides, I think of him like a real brother anyway.
No matter how you look at things, I'm the older brother here.
What do you mean? I'm the older one here. How could it be you when you're forever stuck in your rebellious phase?
I am not in a rebellious phase.
Do you realize just how much I have to do for you?
He is definitely always in his rebellious phase. That's what happens when you adopt a crotchety cat off the street. It just kind of stays crotchety and grumpy. It may enjoy being pet and fed and playing with toys, but it's still got a little grouchy face, okay?
Yeah.
I see. The way Rosie pats Silva on the shoulder tells me exactly what their relationship is like. I love them so much. Like, it's just so perfect. From appearance, Silva does look older, but when they're together like this, he really feels like the younger brother.
Oh, and that's why I think of him as a brother. The father would also like to make his adoption official, but he always refuses.
Oh my god, he's gonna officially get adopted. Because he's like, no, I refuse, but he's going to because then at least he'll be, even if he's the adopted son of a duke, he won't just be some random guy that a noble's daughter marries, because that wouldn't fly. They would never let us marry some rando. But if he's the adopted son of a duke, well, he's okay. Because Keith is the adopted son of a duke. Granted, he had, I think, noble blood in him. He was just like wasn't he like a mistress's kid or something? Or whatnot. You know, and then our father took him in and was like, well, we'll take him in and we'll adopt him as our son. So, like, one parent noble, the other one commoner. But even if it wasn't, I don't remember his full story. But, like, we adopted him. He's now going to be the future duke. So blood doesn't really mean anything. It's, we adopted him. Oh, good enough. So it's not going to matter to our mother that Silva isn't really related to the duke. He was adopted by the duke. He counts. Good enough. Like, but Silva working for them and just being a commoner kind of person, nope, not good enough. So he's getting adopted. He's so motherfucking getting adopted. That's so adorable. Oh, I love this so much. This is absolutely, it's like we're adopting him into our throuple and family. Keep it in the family. Quinn is really the perfect place for me to live because, you know, and we've got Rosie's cousin over there on the throne. It's like the king is also a little flirty and weird. So like, whatever. I apparently was royalty in a past life with all the, like, you know, the fact that I'm in love with my brothers in these games. So apparently I'm, like, down with the incest. Not in real life. Not in real life. That's disgusting. But, like, probably in a past life, this way somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm like, whatever in games. It's fine. I don't want to get hit on the head and remember my past life. I'm fine without that. Thanks. Anyway.
It's not as simple as want. You have a reputation to protect, and you know how nobles react to these things. What did you say? I said, you simpleton. Why the hell would I want to join your irritating noble family? See, Katerina, isn't it adorable how he never says what's on his mind?
I love them. They're perfect brother boyfriends. I love it.
Adorable. That's just gross. But I won't give up. Knowing you, Silva, you'll give in eventually.
See, and it's like, Silva's like trying so hard. He's like, I don't, whatever. I don't know what love is. And it's like, oh, you will accept our love, goddammit. They sure are close. Watching them argue once again reminds me how much they seem like real brothers. Duke Lindgren did say he thought of Silva like his own son. Silva said that he doesn't know where his hometown is or if there are even any survivors of his tribe. But right here, Silva has family that cares about him. I think what Rosie and the Duke feel is the real thing. It really is. And I think Rosie loves Silva quite a lot, but Silva just doesn't know how to accept it yet. Silva's unsecure of his own feelings, okay? Because he's like, I love Katerina and I love Rosie, but I don't understand. Like, we haven't fleshed out the throuple yet, okay? It's a confusing place, you know? It's like, you know, that's outside the standard box, okay? It is. It's outside. The standard box is just usually a couple, okay? So, like, a throuple or, like, polygamy is outside the standard box, right? So, like, it takes a little bit if that's the lifestyle you want to lead, to be like, so, and like broach that with someone. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're friends with someone and you have a crush on them. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit to be like, hey, so we're friends, but like, I also am in love with you. You know what I mean? You got to get up the nerve. So like, we're just working out the nerves here. We're like, okay, we're kind of all in love with each other. And do we broach this topic? Is this where we're going? Like, and then once we open those floodgates, then we're all happy and in love, and it'll be perfect. That's fine. It's fine. Did I read that last line? I have no idea. Whoops. I always hit the wrong fucking joystick. Yeah, Rosie. Okay. I'm happy to see that there are people who genuinely care about Silva, and I end up laughing along with them. Because we adore him. Rosie and Silva really are the fucking best things in this game. I feel bad for our original friend group. Like, I love them, don't get me wrong. But they really don't hold a candle to Rosie and Silva, like, Jesus. Phew, we talked so much today. That night, I roll around in bed, thinking about what we talked about earlier. I have a feeling that's because, honestly, like, the original characters existed in the manga and existed in the anime, so you've kind of got to be true to them and their character and everything, so you don't have as much to play with. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, yes, you don't have to read the manga, you don't have to watch the anime, you don't have to do any of that to understand this game, but you're not going to take Jordo and be like, make him a totally different character than what he is. You're still going to keep his character on point. You know what I mean? So you don't have as much to play with, to develop. You kind of have to keep him in that same track. You know what I mean? So there's not as much that you can experiment with in the writing, really. But with Rosie and Silva, it's like, all new characters! Do whatever the fuck you want. So I think they could be a little bit more creative and a little more in depth with them, you know, and give them slightly richer backstories. Because if you think about it, if you take a step back, it's like, you know, the original characters, this is how they were in the game, whatever, this is the stuff, and we've got all that. And then there's that, and then Rosie and Silva are just like worlds apart. Like, and it's not even like the story they crafted, it's just their personalities and everything. It's like there's so much more to them. They feel so much deeper. Like, because they could do it. So, like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for it's great for the game for me, because I love Rosie and Silva to death. But it does kind of overshadow the original characters, I feel like. Still enjoyed the game beginning to end. I mean, we're not at the end yet, but unless they kill Silva and we don't get a happy ending, I've still like, games have done this to me before, okay? I don't think this is one of those, but like, I've been bamboozled. You know who you are! Games! Bastards. One in particular, I will always hold a grudge. So mad forever. It's been 84 years. I will be mad. Kind of want to go back and replay it, though, just... No, I don't know, it's still gonna make me cry. But anyway, like, I've enjoyed every moment of it. Like, I still love all the original characters, but I do think that these guys are better. I don't know, and I don't know if I feel bad about it or not. Not really. I really don't. I feel bad for our original 4 characters. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, ooh, I kind of feel bad for you guys, because I don't think you got the depth. Like, if we had stopped there with that, it would have been perfect. But you added 2 new characters that just are so much more. And you're like, oh, it kind of makes the original 4 I don't want to say look bad, but it makes them look not as fleshed out. And, you know, you know what I mean? There's something that doesn't, I don't want to say doesn't sit right, because that's not it. Like, it's not that. It's like, yeah, I guess that's the best I can say is Rosie and Silva just seem muchier. There's more to them. They're more. Like, so it kind of overshadows our original 4, which is kind of sad. But it's like the difference between a regular game and then a fan disc. This really is a fan, like, I guess they did a great job then. You're like, this is the fan disc. We got so much crazier and so much more when you added these new characters, and the original characters are just kind of like there, and you got additional stories with them, but fan disc characters are what you're here. You know what I mean? Like, so actually, kind of
brilliant, I guess, because her world and the vinculum and all that is supposed to be the fan disc from the game. So, like, shit, were they really trying to be like, were they trying to go for that? Because it works. Holy shit. I don't know if they were trying to go that deep, but, like, they did. Oh, shit. I'm kind of impressed now. Anyway, that night I roll around in bed thinking about what we talked about earlier. What an eventful life Silva's led. He lost his hometown and was sold into slavery. Then he was tortured by Rigardwell and made to do so much. He then escaped and met Rosie. Silva said that if Rosie didn't take him in, he would have led a much worse life. Yep. He even said he might have become a pirate. Yep. Speaking of which, I think Silva said something similar while on the island. Or she's going to put the pieces together and go, maybe that's why he's not?
If I never met Rosie and being a pirate would have been my calling. Well, it's certainly a possibility anyway.
Now the pieces all connect. Pirates. Speaking of pirates. Game flashback? Yeah. I remember Silva's outfit and appearance as a Sangred pirate in the fan disc dreams. That's right, the fan disc! I forgot about that! It completely slipped my mind, but I might still be in the timeline of the fan disc of Fortune Lover right now. It's probably a bad idea to leave things as they are, right? Katarina might yet meet her doom. Silva's, I was going to say yeet, because a yet and meet in my brain, and I was going to might yeet. Yeet what? Okay. Silva's lived such a challenging life, and he looks like a romanceable Atome character. He is. This could definitely be fan disc territory. It is, but also not, because, again, you being nice to Rosie changed everything, including Silva's life, so. And Silva even confirmed that. Considering what I heard today, I have to assume there's a Doom flag in here somewhere. Yeah, but that's later. We haven't made a save yet, have we? I decided to hold a strategy meeting. Oh, we have made a save file one, and we're going into a strategy meeting. And okay, we don't have to save for this one, so. Also, oh my god. Watching the anime, I love, like, okay, obviously, I feel like it's obvious when we came in and, like, me giving different voices to each one of her characters in her brain. But in the anime, her doing that and giving the different, like, her little selves different voices in her head is, I don't know why I find that so amusing and funny. Because, like, I do the exact same thing when we're here. So it seems like me watching the anime is like, she does the little voices too in her head. That's so funny. And I'm like, I mean, that's a logical conclusion. I mean, I made that leap when we came here and I was like, oh, each one of her little internal people is going to have a different Katarina voice. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, they all actually do too. I don't know why I found it so amusing, though. Like, I guess I'm like, I did, and they do it, and it makes logical fucking sense, though, that they would have done that. If they didn't do it, you would have been like, why wouldn't you do that? But, I don't know, it just tickled me. So anyway, I call this strategy meeting to order! First, let us review our information. It is likely that Silva is a secret romanceable character in the fan disc. But Silva looks completely different from the dream. He doesn't have the eye scar, and he's not part of the Sangred Pirates either. But he did say he might have turned to piracy if he hadn't met Rosie. Right. Might have. Which means that the Silva on the fan disc is Silva from a timeline where Rosie did not take him in. I see! That must be it! You're so smart, Katarina! Amazing! That sounds totally believable! Alan and Keith became completely different people too, so it checks out! That's true! Alan in-game got competitive over everything, but in reality, he says that everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Keith was an attractive but shallow playboy in the game, but he's become such a kind gentleman instead. So, since reality is different from the fan disc, Katarina's doom might not matter anymore. I feel that! We've run into the Sangred Pirates twice, but no doom! I think we're in the clear.
No, we can't let our guard down yet. If Katerina carelessly interrupts Silva and Maria's romance, it could still be doom. Oh, we're so dumb. She's so dumb. He leaned over and kissed your ear and said it was a thing of... Now, okay, that could be something that you do with your family. Like, you know, and it's a sign of affection. Doesn't mean romantic affection. Right? But, like... But, like, you have to take that he has never even talked to Maria. Maria's not even anywhere around. Agreed. We cannot be certain that the fan disc has concluded, so at the very least we should avoid interrupting their romance. In that case... One vote to watch out for romance flags, one vote to forget about the fan disc. The answer is one vote to forget about the fan disc, which actually I totally agree with. I mean, obviously it's the right answer, but like if I were looking at this, I feel like I would have been like, fan disc, right answer, because romance flags, Maria's nowhere around. And we know, Maria's not even applicable to the story. Like we don't have to worry about that. Silva's in love with us, it's clear. So, yeah. And forget about the fan disc, because we are long past that. You changed Silva's life completely, so he was never... There's still Doom flags, don't get me wrong, but, like, he was never going to be the Doom flag. You know what I mean? Him and Rosie are in the clear. Everyone else, questionable. You know, I understand that, but these two? No. Are we all in favor of assuming the fan disc is over and acting as usual? Aye! I'm sure it'll be fine, but... Well, what do I do tomorrow? I think the plan to capture Rigardwell is going full force. Silva has his men investigate the activities of Rigardwell in the Premier's faction today. I spotted him giving orders earlier. I heard that they intend to strike at all of the Premier's faction's known bases of operations tomorrow. But there's not much I can do to help. Keith, Nickel, Mary, and other magic users are joining the assault as well. Jordo and Alan are royalty. It'd be inappropriate for them to attack, so they're to assert their pressure in high society. I thought I'd be joining them, but Jordo told me to wait here at the Lindgren estate. It hurts to realize that I'm not skilled enough to join. But maybe I can think of something to help with tomorrow. For now, I better get a good night's rest so I can be ready to go. As I turn over to try and get comfortable, the sketchbook I left on the table catches my eye. Oh shoot, I still have the sketchbook from Rosie. I better return it to him tomorrow. He said give it to Silva. While thinking that, my consciousness fades. The next moment, I'm fast asleep. The magic sketchbook. Just kidding. Oh, finally, a new chapter. Oh, this is chapter 7, Beyond the Past. This is the last chapter, I think. Oh, okay, so we're getting there. Not obviously in this part, but maybe another part or two. The next morning... Also, a lot of flashback scenarios are going to happen here, because we've only gotten 1, and I think there's 4 total. Okay, 5 total, technically. 4 for Silva, 1 for a mysterious side character, which I'm assuming is going to be the Duke, because we haven't had him. He didn't have a side one in Rosie, so I would assume he's the one. Unless we meet another random character. Or, like, Albert has a side for Silva, but I would assume it's the Duke, because trying to adopt him and stuff like that would make sense. You know, everybody else has had at least 1. The Duke hasn't. So, anyway, Rosie's dad having 1, but there's 4 for Silva. One of them comes after the good ending. So we've got 2 more, basically. And then the Duke. So 3 total that we have to do in this chapter. So okay. Yeah, we got at least 2 more parts going after this, because those take forever. Because I ramble. Anyway. As I walk down the hallway to get breakfast, Silva calls out to me. Hey, Katerina. Good morning. Good morning, Silva. Did you sleep well today? Yeah, all thanks to you. That's good to hear. Silva looks refreshed, so that's a relief. Hey, what's that you're holding? Oh, right, it's a sketchbook that Rosie told me to give to you. I hand over the sketchbook and Silva frowns. Maybe I'm seeing things. I'm not going to read that line because I didn't realize it doesn't stay up. The memory scenarios, like, disappear really fast. So we'll read that when we get back. So it's a sketchbook. Anyway, memory scenario. Sketching her.
Back when I was first taken in by Rosian and the Lindgren family, I was still about 13 years old then, and they tried to coddle me over every little thing. Not just the servants, but Rosian, the Duke, and even the Duchess. And one day I got sick of it and ran out into the yard.
What's with them? Why are they so obsessed with me?
Are we gonna, because, okay, so Rozzy had Katerina sketches, right? And we assumed in Rozzy's route, at least I did, in my head, that like Rozzy was the one who sketched. And then he was like, I should get a portrait made of her, like talk to someone to do it or whatever. Which, you know, you were thinking in one of his memory scenarios, okay, fine. But now it's like, was Silva the one that sketched Katerina all the time? Was Silva the little artist? And Rozzy's like, here, oh, this is what she looked like. And then like fucking Silva's sketching her based on what Rozzy says. Because that's fucking insanity. I love it.
Honestly, I had no idea what to think. They must have been bored to take in a shady orphan and shower him with attention.
See, feisty feral kitten. I love it.
There were no other adults like that in my life. I met countless people happy to take advantage of me, but the Lindgrens gave without expecting anything in return.
They just want you to be happy.
They were just like my parents. Normally, no one would care about some strange kid. What if I stab him in the back? I found their blind trust irksome. Angrily, I cut through the garden plants. After walking a while, I reached a building on the side of the garden, some kind of workshop. Curious, I peeked inside. Just then, someone called out to me from behind, and I jumped.
Hello, Silva. Fancy seeing you at my study.
I turned around to find a grinning Rosian.
I mean, you had to know it was Rozzy. This is about sketching her, about me, so.
And this is his study? I never expected it to be in a place like this. It was odd, detached from the rest of the mansion. I glanced back at the building, wondering why. Rozzy caught my line of sight and laughed happily.
Are you interested? Come on, let's go inside.
I still felt guilty for trying to peep inside, but my curiosity got the better of me, so I followed Rosian into the detached building. It was messier than I expected, and there were books and tools laid about in a heaping mess. This is a noble's home. I could have mistaken it for some workshop downtown. It was overflowing with junk.
Surprised. I seem to have unending inspiration as of late, and with all the unfinished projects, it's a bit messy.
A bit? Wait, you made all this?
I don't have kid voices for them, it's fine.
Well, that's right. I mentioned that the Lindgren family is known for its inventors, remember?
That's true, but I thought he was some high and mighty noble, the kind who would order others to do the work and then take all the credit. I hadn't expected them to do it themselves. It's so dirty. There was barely any space to move. As I looked around, a piece of paper on the desk caught my eye. Surrounded by memos on experiments, it appeared to be a sketch of a girl's face. What's that? It stood out amongst the mathematical formulas and experimental scribblings. Rosian noticed me staring and bashfully picked up the sketch.
Oh, this is a picture of a girl I met when I stayed in Sorcier. She means a lot to me, so I drew this so I wouldn't forget her.
That had me curious. He handed me the sketch and I stared at it intensely. She just looks like some kid.
You're right, she is younger than you.
Rosian, are you in love with her? I spoke my mind, unfiltered, looking at him suspiciously.
And then you steal his girl away 8 years later. I'm just saying, this is why the throuple works, so we don't have to be, like, smacked in the face with that memory constantly.
My response caught Rosian by surprise. After a pause, he burst into laughter.
Of course not. That's not that type of feeling.
Well, maybe not yet, sir, but it's in there budding.
But how do I put this? She made me realize something very important. I owe her greatly. And that's why she's special to me.
Rosian's face was gentle as he spoke those words. I could tell his feelings were earnest.
Although, I mean, to be fair to Rozzy and his family, they're very, like, I don't want to say love-bomby people, because, like, that's usually a negative connotation. Like, you're being love-bombed, and it's usually for negative reasons. But, like, they are very affectionate, loving, doting people. So, like, Katerina just smiling at him and egging him on, not egging him on, but you know what I mean, urging him on and giving a little spark back to him would absolutely, then he would, like, fawn and be a little, but not in a romantic way, be like, oh my god, you're and I mean, he already called her an angel and stuff, so, like, yeah, no, it makes sense. It seems oddly romantic because we are playing a romance game, but in the case of Rozzy and his family and the way they are, yeah, no. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I could take it that it wasn't romantic at all, and he's just like, no, I owe her, and it's amazing, and she is amazing, and you're amazing, and everyone's amazing, because his family's all on drugs. Like, some kind of happy-go-lucky love drugs, and the world needs a little bit more of the love drugs that his family's on, but, you know, seriously. They're all on some kind of drugs. Good for them, though.
So he owes her, huh? I had no idea what happened, but obviously whatever it was must have been an important event for him.
Or, well, I'm confused. Okay, so, like, even if it was Rozzy sketching Katerina out the whole time, why would he be like, give this book to Silva? Like, unless it's his way of being like, you know, because I used to sketch her because she was really important to me, and, like, him giving, like, Silva the sketchbook is like, she's important to you too, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, admit it. You know? I mean, that's what this little memory scenario is for.
I can tell from the care he put into the sketch, too. Uh-huh. I wondered why. I found I couldn't take my eyes off the sketch either. Sorcier was a nation unbelievably far away. The girl was beyond the ocean. There was no way I could go see her. Yet somehow I wanted to anyway.
Look at you! Good God, just a sketch draws everyone. Don't bite my neck, that hurt, bird.
This is stupid. I don't even know her name. Besides, it was Rozian who met her, not me. It was a strange reaction to seeing a sketch. I wasn't even sure she was real.
Yeah, but you know what? It's almost like somewhere inside of you, you know, she's the reason you have this life.
I'm sorry, but even if it's you...
Oh, I'm sorry, but even if it's you, I just can't give that away, Silva.
He must have said that because I was staring at the sketch so intently. Rosian's words brought me back to my senses. I jumped in surprise.
I don't want it!
I nervously gave the sketch back to Rosian and ran from the study. But ever since, I went to the study whenever Rosie invited me. I later realized that every time I did, I would subconsciously end up looking at the sketch of the girl.
Ah, okay. So she's in the book. I hand over the sketchbook and Silva frowns. Maybe I'm seeing things, but his face seems a little red. Yeah, because she's in that sketchbook, and that's Rozzy's way of being like, give this to him, and being like, you were always looking at that sketch, and now you got the real thing. Oh my god. Ugh. This is why you have to believe in the thruple route supremacy, okay? Because otherwise it hurts so much that Rozzy is such a good little bean that he's like, I've been in love with Katerina for God knows how long, and now I'm totally in love with her, but I know you are. It's okay, bro, I'm here for you. Like, stop it! Stop it! Thruple route. It's a thruple route, otherwise it hurts too much.
That guy, what's the big idea getting Katerina to hand this to me?
Is something wrong with it?
It's nothing big.
Silva says that and puts the sketchbook under his arm. But I'm glad to see Silva doing well. When I talked with him yesterday, he said nightmares were keeping him from sleeping. It looks like he slept well last night. Yeah, because we were like, I'm here for you, bro, and I love you. In that case, it shouldn't be a hindrance on today's mission. Now then, I wonder what's for breakfast. I head to the dining room with Silva and find everyone else is gathered for breakfast too. You know, it'd be really funny if at some point in front of them, she just like, okay, leans up, kisses Silva on the ear because it's an affection thing in his tribe. And she's like, yeah, we shared it. It's like a handshake, you know? She's thinking it's casual like that, and everybody else literally fucking all their heads explode seeing her do that. I need this in my life. Just, even if it's not there, just imagine it. Because you know, you're giggling evilly. You're like, it'd be so evil to everyone else. But I love it. Katerina, good morning.
Good morning, Katerina. Did you sleep well?
Yes, I slept great.
I'm glad for it. You too, Silva.
At least Rosie is like, it's okay, Silva, I support you. And everyone else is like fighting for her attention. Silva nods, looking a little bashful. He then returns to his usual bold attitude and holds out the sketchbook to Rosie.
And never mind that. What's the big idea here?
Didn't you always want it? I'll give it to you, so cherish it.
Oh my god. Oh! 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 Oh, this hurts my heart. I can't breathe. Stop it. It was like, he always looked at the sketch and Rosie was like, you can't have it. It's important to me. And now he's like, now he's basically like giving Silva his okay. Like, I know you're in love with her and I think she's in love with you. And it's okay, man. You go ahead and sweep her off her feet. Stop it! I'm gonna cry. What? I love Silva so much, but Rosie really is perfect. Like, Rosie, stop trying to steal everyone's thunder. You can't come into Nickel's route and show up and then be like, I love you, and then poof out of existence. Sorry, Cardboard Man. But, like, Rosie stole the thunder from you. Like, and then now, Silva, I love you so much, but every time Rosie's like, I'm here for you, I'll support your love. Stop it! Stop it, it hurts! He's so good. But again, thruple supremacy, so I'm, this is Rosie being like, it's okay, Silva. We both love you. It's okay to admit your feelings, and we're just trying to gently ease him into accepting our love. So it's fine. It's fine. That's how I'm reading this, so it doesn't break my heart, okay? I don't want it. Silva pushes the sketchbook toward Rosie, but Rosie just smiles and pushes it back. I love it.
No, I think you need this, Silva. I'll be fine without it.
I don't get it.
They shove it back and forth until the sketchbook slips and falls to the floor. It lands open, revealing a picture. It's a picture of a girl? Now this is... Could it be... Jordo's shocked and Keith looks so mad. Huh? Do you all know what this is?
Well, this is...
An explosion! Silva's like, thank God! What? What the? I hear a loud explosion and rush to the window. There's a plume of smoke rising. I can also hear the ringing of screams and crying in the distance. Could this be that? We all look at each other, and then we hear rushed footsteps coming closer and closer. Bird, you cannot jam yourself in my esophagus. Lord Rosie and Lord Silva, we have trouble! A riot's occurred! It's a coup!
Not that kind of coup.
That was me, not the bird, just in case he doesn't know how to coo like that.
He's not a pigeon.
So you act like one.
He'll call you a chicken. You're my little chicken. And you're a pigeon. Sometimes you're a dirty pigeon. No, pigeons aren't dirty. Maybe the ones outside in New York City. But most of the time they're not.
There's rioting all around town. Everything's dropped to prioritize it. Right now, the Royal Knights and the Capitol Guard are working to quell the riots. Ow! It's a fierce back and forth battle.
You bit my pinky. That's not nice. That hurt. Your beak is very sharp. I'm gonna grab your beak and keep it.
The Lingren private army joins the fray, along with the men among my childhood friends. The only ones remaining at the Lingren estate are Sophia, Mary, Maria, and me. Thought they were on a ship. Miss Maria, please take care of his injuries.
Yes, you can count on me.
Many injured are being brought to the house. Maria uses her light magic to heal them. As for me, I'm assisting people with light injuries that don't require Maria's aid. Ugh, if only my earth bump was more powerful, I could have joined the fight. But treating the wounded's important too. I nod to myself as I run around helping the injured at the mansion. And soon, the sun's already setting. Phew, I'm tired. I wipe off the sweat from my brow, and the four of us take a break together. There's so many wounded. Are they really gonna be alright? It'll
they'll be fine. They have powerful magic, and they know what they're doing. I suppose so. Although Maria nods, I can see she's looking pale. Maybe she's exhausted after using so much magic to heal so many people. It must be tough to handle those injuries. I stare out the window and hope the riots will end soon. Suddenly, the door bursts open.
Excuse me, is Miss Maria here?
Yes, that would be me.
Oh, please come with me. Silva's badly injured.
What? Not my baby? Huh? Silva? Badly injured? I feel the blood drain from my face when I hear that. Oh no. Silva! So where is he right now?
I'll bring you there right away. We couldn't bring him here as moving him could worsen his condition.
I understand. I'll go immediately.
I'll go too.
Me too.
No, I asked the three of you to report this to the others. Maria, right this way.
Right.
Grab her and be like, take care of him. I love him.
Maria departs with the soldier, and we're left behind. No, I didn't think Silva would get hurt. He's so strong. It never even crossed my mind that he might get hurt. I can feel my fingertips going cold from worry. I'll nurse him back to health. It'll be fine. Lady Katerina, are you all right? I stand there in a daze. Sophia and Mary help me over to the sofa, looking worried. Yes. I have to go tell Rosie and the others about Silva's injury. You can leave that to us. That's right. Lady Katerina, you should rest right here. I'll report this to Lord Rosian. And then I'll tell Brother and the others, just in case. The two of them are gone in a flash. I sit on the sofa, stunned, watching them go. After a while, I come back to my senses. No, now's not the time to be feeling down. I have to pull myself together. But what can I do? Although I'm unsure, I think it'd be better for me to report this to Duke Lindgren. I get up from the sofa. When I come out of the hallway, I freeze. Whoa, Katerina, slow down there. Silva? I can feel warm tears of relief welling in my eyes. How are you back already? Thank goodness. Hey, what's wrong? Did something happen? Silva peers at me, so I quickly wipe away the tears. Oh, was that a ruse? Was that someone coming? Maria, Silva's badly injured. I need you to come with me. So she went and they kidnapped her? Did they just kidnap Maria? Is that just what fucking happened? I mean, I heard you were hurt, Silva. Hurt? What are you talking about? A moment ago, a private army soldier came and told us you were gravely injured. He took Maria with him. I'm so glad you're okay. Yeah, no, I was like, how are you back so fast? Oh, yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, no, exactly. Maria just got kidnapped. He took Maria. Silva looks like he's been struck by lightning. He grabs me by the shoulders. What did he look like? I described the soldier to Silva as best I can remember. He thinks for a moment, but then shakes his head. There's no one among my men who fits that description. It's likely a trap from the Premier's faction. A trap? Then Maria's... Yeah, it's likely she was kidnapped. Oh no. Damn. Now that I think of it, those Sangrid people were after light magic users too. I should have assigned her a guard detail. And their plan must have been to create chaos in town and then slip in while security was light. If only I had thought it through. Anyway, we have to go and look for Maria. I move toward the door, but Silva grabs me by the collar. Dummy, where are you running off to when we have no clue where she could be? Leave the search to me. You should stay put here and... I can't stay still knowing that Maria's been kidnapped. The search requires more manpower. Besides, it'd be too hard to sit still while worrying about her. Seems like you'll just go berserk if I leave you to yourself, huh? Something could happen if I leave you here alone anyway. Alright, we'll go together. Aw, and this is where we'll stop. I'm gonna leave it here, and then we will, continue. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more.